Murray Gibson coming to you from the Ergo Innovation Space here in Auburn, Alabama. I'm going to talk today about prototypes and mock-ups and how they're powerful tools that you can use. It will help you with your ergonomic solution development. Now, typically, common excuses we get, particularly from the engineers, is we don't have the time, we don't have the money, we don't have the resources. But those are really misconceptions. If anything, effective use of prototypes and mock-ups results in better solutions faster, and it saves in your overall solution cost. So sit back, I'm going to share a little bit about prototypes and mock-ups and show you some practical examples. Let's cover some definitions. A prototype is a preliminary model from which others are made, while a mock-up is a model or replica used for instructional or experimental purposes. Now I'm going to share some practical examples, prototypes and mock-ups I've been involved with. One here is a handle. Now this came from the industry making handle sets, like a door handle, and one of the problems was employees turning the button. And when they were doing testing, right after the initial assembly, it could be high finger forces. So the solution is to use a hand tool. And this is an actual prototype that was used. I actually made these at home years ago. You see, out of a dowel, some smaller dowels, and used a saw to cut the notch there. But it's something that when I went back to the plant, we tried it, and you can see that instead of doing it with your fingers, like this, you can use the tool. A more elaborate version might be something with a T-handle. And again, these are things that over the years I've worked with maintenance departments, especially when I was a plant and corporate level ergonomist. We would work internally. We would develop a lot of prototypes and mock-ups. Here's an example I was involved with as a consultant. This was developing a fixture. Now, this was a fixture where employees place these tiny pins into these lock cylinders. And we were looking at redesigning something that had been used. They had been aligned like this, perpendicular to the employee, I think for about 20 or 30 years. So the employee would take the pin and they would do this number. And you notice the elbow comes away from the body, awkward arm, hand position. So the solution idea was to develop a new fixture. And one of the things I noticed is can we change the orientation of the work to better fit the body? So what we did is we developed the concept. What if we rotated this 45 degrees? So now, instead of doing this, now we can still see it, but we have a much more neutral position. So we had a fixture. We had these lined up. These were different sizes, different size notches. We just experimented and saw what worked best. But you see, the idea is you experiment. It doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, these things are made of wood. They can be done quickly. You can share them. You can get employee feedback. Then before you put in an order to order, say, 75 of these fixtures, you've already tested it. You've got employee feedback. And also you can tweak the ergonomic design. You can come up with a better design. So you can get a better design faster at a lower cost. I want to share another story of where a prototype would have been very beneficial. A lean engineer, we were looking at a situation, employees press with the thumb to insert these E-clips, put a lot of pressure to the thumb. You can imagine employees had their thumbs taped and had indentations, a lot of mechanical pressure. So using a tool had a lot of advantages, but the problem, he ordered 50 or 60 tools of these hand tools from a tooling company, custom tools, so talking a fair amount of money, and they came in and they didn't work very well. They weren't very comfortable. The tool itself put a lot of pressure on the hand, and so then it gets kind of messy trying to, we've already purchased these. Now we're trying to do a different design. You're better off designing it right the first time and putting a little bit of effort. Just like we did this tool here, we could have made a prototype with that E-clip tool. It would have been the same thing. 2 or 3 iterations, we had a winner design. Anyway, there are various opportunities you can use prototypes and mock-ups. And again, to kind of summarize, the misconception, there's no time, there's no money, no support. Really, you don't need those. It's kind of like 80-20. You can using a simple, crude model, you can learn a lot and you can get a better design faster. So always in your solution development efforts, remember prototypes and mock-ups. And it's a valuable tool to have in your ergonomic toolbox. Thank you for your time. Look forward to talking with you in the future.